But I must also reiterate, something that I said, I cannot remember now, Memelinda, whether it's 3 years, 4 years ago. When I was closing, one of the summits, I think it was at Country Club. And that is to say, I don't believe, in the habit of holding summit after summit, summit after summit. There are many critical issues that emerge from this summit that we have since, held. And I've challenged my colleagues to say we need to go back to the inaugural, summit that we had, so that we can carry out a thorough audit of all critical issues that have emerged from these, summits. Critical issues that either government must attend to, or you as operators and service providers and regulators must also attend to. And then we need to pause and do some reflection and examine the extent to which we have gone ahead or we have succeeded in effectively addressing some of these issues. Because 3 years ago I said, I'm not in the habit of us, having ICT summits as if they were rituals. Huh? You all know rituals, eh? Every year you need to converge. It's a ritual. But at the end of the day, you ask yourself, what is the utility that I'm deriving out of this? And if there's no utility, then surely looking at the extent to which we go in investing resources, from the time to financial to human resources to everything else, then if there's no utility and there are no benefits that are emerging out of this, then we need to do the honorable thing and ensure that we continue to retain our sanity. Because as Sigmund Freud, once said, you keep on doing the same thing time and again, you expect, different results. And the fellow sat down, he pondered, and he said, no, that is not sanity. I think we can classify that as insanity. So we will be doing, this audit, because it's only if we give credence to the outcomes of these annual summits that as a country, as a sector, we will derive maximum utility out of it. It's either one of the issues is policy, if we identify an issue that requires policy, no intervention, that's the space in which we operate. If we identify an issue that pertains to innovation, then we need to address that. And I'll come to that at the end. Because when it comes to innovation, in terms of this application that I'll be launching, have the privilege to launch, then it's a clear indication that indeed we mean what we say. When we say we need to encourage our young people to innovate, that's exactly what we imply. So I am partly happy, but I'm challenging all of us to at times sit back, reflect, and determine whether we are still on the right course and whether we are deriving maximum utility out of that. Finally, we have challenged one of our young innovators to develop an app for our summit. We must lead by example. So I will now have the privilege to launch, that app. And this is what we have been saying. We've been saying, young people, they have the greatest minds. They have got the appetite in terms of innovating. And I remember I've been repeating and saying, we therefore need to create an innovation ecosystem that will challenge these young innovators to develop arms. So colleagues who are operating, in this space, let's create these opportunities. Because I know of the difficulties that young people are confronted with when they develop, these apps. I think we have not cultivated the required appetite to take these apps on board. In actual fact, we are frustrating our young innovators. Some of us who are operating in this space are we are behaving like sharks. Last week, I was in Oshikoto. I spoke about cannibalism in Namibia. And I said there's political cannibalism, there's social cannibalism, but equally there's also economic cannibalism. Where instead of assisting, one another, once you hear, some have even, made it their business to have elongated ears that are simply there listening to what is emerging, and then they go and plagiarize, their ideas, and then they deny fellow Namibians the opportunity to benefit from those ideas. And then they take them. Some have got a tendency to receive these ideas with a smile, but deep down, once the innovator, leaves, you say, it's my day. You take, the idea, you frustrate that idea, maximizing on the privilege of the space in which you operate. But then 2 days, along the way, you resurrect, the idea, you repackage, the idea, and then you claim it's yours. Kanti, the idea is not yours. The idea belongs to someone else. So we have led, by example, by the way. And by the way, it's free. These colleagues will not be charging. They developed, this app for us. So, fellow Namibians, this is a clear indication that if we provide the necessary environment to our innovators, and there are many. Young people, by the way, are not interested in having a tie like this. No. They are not interested in having formal employment. No, those days are gone for them to have bosses. They are their own bosses. What they want is to just be provided with a space to operate. They want to, when we talk about youth unemployment, by the way, those of us who are in government and who are also playing in this space in terms of the private sector, don't think traditionally in terms of employment creation. Because the employment regime has changed. We are operating in the 21st century. It's no longer formal employed, you are reporting, you even have an office. No. Nowadays you operate wherever you operate. Whether it's me still climbing the tree, trying to get, network, as long as I've got access to network and I've got this space, I can operate my business here with very less overhead, costs. Just with a cell phone and the packaging of your business. That's all that you need. So those of us who operate in this space, please, let's create the opportunities so that our young people, we sing the song of youth unemployment. Question is, what are we doing about it, wherever we are? So what we are launching today is a classical example of give me the opportunity and I will show you the coffee. So please, I hope through this app, those of us who are usually the doubting Thomases, today you will be convinced. Because I'm encouraging you not to leave this room and continue to be a doubting Thomas, because you will be left behind. Supporting all these young people. When they come to you and say, we have developed this app in the area of agriculture, education, the sky is the limit. Even Parliament, in the space where we operate, my fellow honorable colleagues, they can develop an appropriate app for that. In the area of agriculture, they can develop appropriate. In the area of the sky is the limit. Why should you be enriching? Where do we get this app place? What is that? Yeah. Some of them, are produced where? In America. I don't want to sound like somebody who is leading a country anywhere. And say, no, just focus, on Namibia. But please, where we as Namibia are in a position to develop apps or innovations that are best suited to our context, let's go for that. I appeal to you colleagues who are operating in this space, have confidence and faith in the quality of what is locally produced. Don't simply have faith in the quality of foreign produced products. Of course, I've got no phobia for what is produced elsewhere. But what I'm saying is, please take pride in what we produce locally here in Namibia. So I'm challenging all sectors from education to ICT, involve the young innovators, challenge them. Because today it's about apps. Today is in other countries, by the way, money. I heard someone talking about a check. You see, in the ICT sector, in the digital world, checks, we have relegated them. Although we will be holding checks here, they are just symbolic. Because we want to operate digitally. In other countries, even when you are paying, you are making payments, you are having, your dinner, they no longer use the cards. Are you aware? I think you are. They no longer use, the cards. All they do is to use what? Apps. So why are we not moving in that space, ourselves? What are we waiting for? And why should we be following? We should be in the forefront in terms of driving innovation. This is why people are being robbed. If you are using, apps, what will you rob anyway? Well, it's only the mobile phone. But if it's secured, you are robbing me, but you will not be able to operate, the instrument. I nearly forgot, in terms of the crime rate, in this country. We are suffering in the midst of plenty. Time has come that we also move and migrate towards having smart cities and towns. I said this, I think in the media briefing, but I haven't seen it, being focused on. I think the media too, you are very selective anyway. I said, what is preventing us, from going CCTV, starting, with Vendukuya? The critical, corners. There's no city in this world that will travel to in any given country that is not as smart. It's only us, we are lagging behind. Opuo, we are lagging behind. We should have done that long time ago. So that some of these perpetrators anyway, by now, I said, we could have easily traced them.